my baseball kid. Okay, that really lightened my mood. Oh, sorry, Doughboy. I guess this is payback for bad reputation. This is such a weird activation. Yeah, so obviously that second act could be quite a bit better. The first act, my PB is 12 over, which I'm pretty sure is just a frame. I really haven't had that many successful attempts past the first act because it took me so long to stop missing on the first activation. I don't know if my timing was just too ambitious by a frame, or if my extended hit window fretting was just not proper, or some of the time I could have been missing the note after, but yeah, 32 has been the average that I've gotten off these. Second act, that was like the second time I've gotten even a successful second act. The first one was like absolutely terrible. I think I didn't even, because it's really awkward to whammy into an activation like that, especially one that not only ends in a strum but basically two strums. So that could be way better. Now I'll get into the task work that I did on this. First of all, the upper bound squeeze on the first act is actually possible, but first of all, it's a 3-frame activation in total, which includes 2 different whammies. One of them is in a really complicated situation because it's preceded by close hammer-ons. So if you notice, I strum the notes before it to unlock the window better. But that 3-frame window is very deceptive because that is with a buffered first frame whammy on the second phrase, and without that, with just doing normal frame perfect whammy, it's a 1-frame activation. And so obviously anytime you have an extended hit window 1-frame activation, it's like good fucking luck, man. It's kind of a bummer too, because the upper bound first act is so much easier of an activation just because that note is all by its lonesome. Although that being said, it is kind of hard to analyze acts like that, because compared to the non-upper bound first act, the one that I'm obviously using here, yes, it's a lot easier to execute because you don't have to worry about the preceding strum, but at the same time, the note window is so large that it can be kind of hard to, obviously get a frame perfect, or just whatever hit the actual frame that you're looking for in a note window that big, whereas, on the non-upper bound one that I'm using, the note window is so small that it's almost hard to mess up your strum timing, in a sense. But that being said, anyway, the back end would be really annoying as well with trying to hold ticks, because you basically have to input the back end green, yellow, blue chord immediately after ticks end on the blue, orange. So inevitably you'd probably drop some on that as well. Obviously it wouldn't matter making up that many points in total, but it's just, complicates things even further. I did task the non-upper bound first act as well, and optimal, it was really weird. I got the same result with both a buffered whammy on the second star power phrase and regular whammy on the second star power phrase, which is just bizarre because in the like I mentioned, in the upper bound squeeze, it makes 2 frames of difference on whether or not that is possible, but for some reason it yielded the same amount of ticks on either way, which didn't make any sense. But anyway, because I wasn't FCing up to that part, just tasking the activations, I tend not to do that because it's really annoying to play on keyboard, and so I just end up doing math for that. I found the first act, non-upper bound, to give you plus 16 ticks over what you started with. So in that TAS run, I had like 76 ticks before and ended on 92. Whereas in a real run, you'd start on 56 and end on 72. So clearly a lot of room to grow on that first act in general. Second act, I just did, again, math to deduce the ticks, and ended up in the optimal act was plus 40 from the ticks you started with before the yellow, blue, orange chord. I don't know what I had this run. I'm going to have to go back and analyze that. I know it wasn't good. The upper bound second act shows plus 56. So it's just one of those whamming into the next dimension sort of things that the upper bound does, I guess. And that leads to the total not doing the upper bound first act being, I'm pretty sure, 321, 820. So yeah, tons of room to grow on this song. The second act would be, I think, particularly hard to optimized, not only because, I mean, for me at least, because I really suck at these reverse tick acts, but also I think the whammy for it is much harder. Not only the fact that it has twice as much whammy, but just the ones that exist are in really kind of awkward spots in comparison to the first act. And the first phrase of the first act is so close to the beginning of the song that you can basically just reset for frame perfect without it being a big deal. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about this one. I put off this song for a really long time because it's completely incompatible with the Xbox version. There are a couple songs that are like that. There are a couple songs that, well, most adjusted scores are like that. But there are a couple ones that aren't, like Heart-Shaped Box, I'm pretty sure, just loses a flat amount of points, which is what I was working on before this, but I don't even want to get into the absolute nightmare that is turned into trying to beat the Xbox first place score. So this was basically just a little break from that migraine, and hence why I'm taking such a marginal first place, at least for now.